What's up, guys? I'm in my closet searching for the spirit of gravel. I used to have it, but I lost it. I listened to the Trainer Road podcast, and on there they had Keegan Swanson, who's going to do the Lifetime Gravel series, and he was talking about he did a ride where he had to go find the spirit of gravel. And I think I used to have that spirit, and I'm trying to get it back. Gonna go do a gravel race tomorrow, and I've been thinking a lot about gravel recently, and I have this opinion. It's kind of a hot take, I guess. It may not make sense, but really, gravel racing has very little to do with the actual gravel. Hear me out. Let me explain this. Gravel racing is basically road racing in the USA now. It's replaced road racing. We got crits and we got gravel racing, and that's basically where the money is, and that's where the participation is. So the popularity, here's my opinion, the popularity of gravel riding and racing isn't really about gravel. You could run gravel race on paved back roads and it would be 95% the same most of the time. Riding on gravel isn't really that different from riding on the road, except for a couple things and a big butt. Okay, so big butt. So what's the popularity about? Why is it blowing up? Well, one, it's new. It's people love fads. They love buying new stuff. The bike industry loves selling new bikes. You basically take a road bike and put a little more room in it, and suddenly it's a gravel bike. I mean, honestly, you know, vintage road bikes can run 32 tires usually. They're gravel bikes. And my second reason, mass start events. You're racing with the pros, and they're actual gravel pros now, and you might even get to see them for a few seconds. It's pretty cool to get to line up with the fastest people in the world at this particular discipline, and you can line up with them. In some cases you may have to pay or win a lottery or get into a race, but I mean, it's not like they race at one time and you race another time. It's everybody starts at the same time, and that's pretty unique in the world of racing. It's inclusivity. This is my third reason. Road racing, it's really intimidating, and it's really easy to feel like you don't belong. I mean, I have pretty much every time I've tried it. Gravel racing, it's the opposite. Everybody belongs. There's none of that elitism, very little of it. Um, you show up in cut off jean shorts and you're carrying a Yorkie in your messenger bag during the race, and that's cool. Nobody cares. Nobody's going to judge you. The people. So it's like at the Dirty South, and I think this is probably most gravel rides, the slower riders, they probably get a better reception than the fast riders. There's more people there. The people stay and they hang out, they party, and they welcome back the slower riders as they finish. And that was just, it's so awesome. That attitude, that vibe of a race where the slower riders are getting like cheered and welcomed for finishing. And you go to a road race, you finish up the road race, you get in your car and you go home. You go to a crit, you get dropped, you get in your car, you go home. There's one other thing, unpredictability. And that's something that gravel has, that it's because of the nature of gravel. That's the one thing that I think separates gravel from road. You have weather conditions that can really, I mean, rain is pretty, weather conditions could happen in road racing. They can happen in any kind of racing. But it's going to be a little different in gravel if you're racing in mud and the surface is all soft and chunky. Maybe you need different tires. You've got more likelihood of having mechanicals. You've got way more gear choices that can have a huger effect in different types of gravel. So that unpredictability adds this wild card that has a lot of excitement to gravel racing. And road racing, traditional road racing, just doesn't have that. I think road races could learn a lot from gravel organizers, like the Mid South race organizer Bobby Wintle. I was reading, actually this was in a podcast too. I was listening to the Velo News podcast, and they were talking about a quote of his. He said that the front of the race is like a beautiful flower that can only exist because of the support and strength of the stem. And that stem is the community of riders that go to these races, that support them, volunteer, race, the community that around the races, and that's gravel has that. Road racing really doesn't. From what I've seen, the few road races I go to, it was very much an insider's game at road races, and gravel is so much more inclusive, and that's that to me. That's it right there. Four reasons why gravel is not gravel racing isn't really about gravel racing, and one reason why it is. So, do I think that you could run, like I said, a race just like a gravel race, but not actually have any gravel in it? I, I think it would go over really well if you had the same vibe, same event, same type of event. It could probably go over like I used to do the three state, three mountain championship, which was not a race, it was a road ride. They timed you up like two or three of the climbs and just gave you the times, like you got times for when you finished. It was a mass start ride. Everybody lined up, went at the same time, and it was like $35 or $45 or something to do the event. Huge, huge ride. Of course, it got bought out by Hincapie Grand Fondo, and now it's like 10 times as much to do the ride, I think. But, um, you know, I think the gravel races right now, it's just an awesome time to be in the gravel and to be in the, in the middle of something that's exploding like this. Because I don't think it'll last, but who knows? It could be the new thing forever. See ya.